After you work, you need to make sure to record your hours. For our program, that means time needs to be entered in both U-Access and the SnapEd time log. So why do we need to enter time in the time log if we've already entered it in U-Access? Well, the SnapEd time log is how we differentiate between admin and direct time, because our grant requires us to maintain a certain level of direct hours. Let's go over the FY18 time log and how to fill it out correctly. Your supervisor should email you the newest template, so be sure to contact them if you haven't received it. Make sure you use the same template every month, unless accounting or your supervisor sends you an updated one, because accurate month-to-month data is needed for payroll processing. If you do receive an updated time log, please be sure to immediately delete the original one and move forward with the replacement one. The time log is an Excel spreadsheet that's specific to you. When you open it, be sure to enable editing and content as well as select yes if asked to use macros. Otherwise, you won't be able to use all the functions of the form. Some general rules of this template are written over here for reference. Something important to remember is that if a cell is red, it indicates an error. So if a cell is blank and it's red, you need to fill it in with information. If a cell has content in it, but it's red, the content inside contains an error and may need to be erased. Before you enter any of your time, take a look at the information at the top of the log. Your name should be entered at the very top. If any mistakes were made in this or your name changes in the middle of the fiscal year, let accounting know and they'll correct it. Any changes to your ERE code and status will be updated by accounting. But if you notice anything off or you know you're going to have changes that affect your future time log, write a note in the Notes for Accounting box for it to be fixed. Your supervisor may adjust these fields as well. Another thing to think about is whether or not you've had a percentage change or FTE change within the program at any time during the month. A percentage change is when the percentage you work with the grant changes, such as if you've changed from working 100% of the time with SnapEd to working 50% of the time with SnapEd and 50% of the time with another grant. An FTE change is when the number of hours you typically work changes, such as if you change from working 40 hours a week, which is a 1.0 FTE, to 30 hours a week, which is a 0.75 FTE. If you have, go to this box on the right. You'll see your current status here. To update this, you'll need to type your new status in the Updated column. Let's start with a date. Select the date of change in this drop-down list. You'll notice FTE turn red. That signals this cell cannot be blank if a change of date has been selected. Type your FTE. This doesn't have to be different if you only had a change in percentage. Now you'll need to type in your percentage. Enter your percentages and select the county on the right in the drop-down list, or enter a percentage down on the line that reads Other Grants, not SnapEd, if your percentage change is related to another grant. If your number does not add up to 100, you'll see the percentage total column turn red, which indicates your totals need to be changed. Now let's talk about filling out some time. You may notice that even though you have not entered any time for the month, there's already time in this box off to the right. That's because these boxes calculate total time for each pay period, which may start at the end of one month and end at the beginning of another. If you're not a 100% SnapEd employee, you'll also see a couple more boxes over here on the right. These boxes are to let you know your balance of time worked for the grant versus what you're expected to be working. This is helpful for you and your supervisor to know if you need to increase or decrease your hours worked for SnapEd. It will start calculating your hours beginning the 1st of October, and it'll be cumulative until the end of FY18. When you enter hours, you'll see daily totals calculate in these gray boxes to the right. The pay period total column will sum these daily totals together in the white cell on the period end date in green. Make sure you're splitting up your time between admin and direct, depending on how many hours you worked on each that day. If you don't know what category your time fits under, check the first tab of the template for a general guide of where activities should fit. You can also watch the admin and direct split tutorial for an overview of what admin and direct time entail. If you take time off, you'll enter it in the time off columns next to admin and direct. Enter your hours, then select the type of time off you took from the drop-down list, such as vacation or sick time. If you work partly with other grants, make sure you're still entering your full time off taken in this column. It will automatically calculate based on your percentage in the column on the right. The only time you do not enter hours in the time off type column is when you take unpaid time. When you take unpaid time, select U from the drop-down list, but only enter your time in the notes column. If you take time off and you select O for other, please write the type of time off you took in the notes. Remember, if you see red, it's an error. If you only enter time, the drop-down list will be red, showing you need to select an option. If you only select from the drop-down list, the time will be red, showing you need to type in some time. If you select U and enter time, the cell will be red, showing that time should not be entered there. Make sure to check with your RC for your county's policy on the explanation and notes column overall. Just make sure you're using it to denote unpaid hours and to describe any time selected as other. Best practice for the time log is to fill out your time for the day after you've completed working instead of trying to fill out the entire month at the end. Mostly, you need to make sure you're reporting actual hours worked and ensure that any paid time off is the same as it is in your U-Access timesheet. Once you've finished the month, save it according to your county's protocol. Just remember to use the same template every month, unless accounting sent you an updated one, in which case you should delete your previous template and only use the updated one. If you have any questions after watching this tutorial, talk to your supervisor, RC, or give the accounting team a call, and we'll be happy to help.